What's good, gang? It's your compa Ant, and I'm here today to talk about training as a blue collar worker and what are some 3 tips that I have for y'all, from my own experience. So, for some background information, I am a landscaper. That is how I make my living, and then I lift consistently 4 to 5 times per week. So, okay, lesson number 1: you have to take care of your body. And I know it's cliche, but it's true. Because think about it. If you work as a blue collar worker, you're making your money from your own physical body and whatever it is that you do. So you have to take care of it at the best of your abilities, especially when you're training. For example, like for your elbows, there's people that love to bench, and that's good, all power to you. But if, for example, benching too often or benching too heavy causes you to start developing tendonitis, and that starts affecting your ability to sleep, now you're not recovering, which makes you more susceptible to injuries in the workplace as well as in the gym. Or it could start affecting your performance if you use your pushing strength in your own physical job, or for example, let's say your knees, if you start going too crazy on the squats and you screw them over, then that could start affecting you in your day-to-day work, which is also no bueno. So I say that your training, you should always have things that will lead to taking care of your body. For example, like for triceps, at least in one of your training days, having high rep push downs, in the 15 to 20 rep range, single arms, so you can fully just get as much blood as you can to the tendon, or for example, just rehab knee work whenever it's possible, hyperextensions to bulletproof your back, stuff like that, stuff to reinforce and strengthen areas of your body that you will use in your day-to-day job, as well as not running yourself into recovery holes. So that means probably not doing max singles week to week, because that will definitely cause some problems down the road. Having different exercises to hit the muscle from different angles, so you're not running into overuse injuries, stuff like that. So yeah, that's my first point. Just take care of your body. Make sure it's nice and greasy. Whatever you do, take care of your hamstrings, your knees, your elbows. Take care of your tendons, because you only get one set of tendons, and if you're making your money out of it, you need to take care of them to the best of your ability. Second point: even if you're a blue collar worker, progression is still key. You need to progress, and if that means maybe rotating exercises for ones that allow for easier, more frequent progressions, then that's probably better. I say probably because there's always exceptions. Let me give you an example. Like me, I no longer bench when I am in my peak work seasons because I just don't progress it. In fact, sometimes I'll regress it because I'm so tired out of work. Whenever I just go into the gym, I just can't do it. Mentally, I'm just gassed. So I will rotate my bench for a machine press where I can push intensely without having to worry about stability and just as much force output, and I can progress that. So if I can progress that, I will do that, even though it's easier, but because I can progress it, that's what I will do. So that's what I suggest. Let's say you have a lift and it's not progressing, whether it's because you're too tired of this, maybe just switch it out for a machine variant or a different rotation of that exercise, into something you can progress, something you can see frequent progression. Because if you're not progressing, you're also probably not building muscle. I say probably because there's always exceptions, so always progress your lifts. And from my own experience as a landscaper, if you're too tired, unstable lifts really tend to be harder to progress. So if you work a really physically demanding job, maybe switching certain exercises for the machine versions would potentially do you some good, to create easier avenues for progression. So yes, that is my second point. Progression is still key, and you should always do what you can to maximize your progression. Number 3, lower rep ranges in my opinion, are much more recommended for blue collar workers. Because think about it, if you're out in the heat or you're out there walking, like for example me, I walk a lot, because it's my job, weed whacking or whatever. So if I'm doing that and then I come into the gym and I have to do sets of like 12 or sets of 15, that, like, my cardiovascular system's already taxed. So it's much better, in my opinion, to do sets between 5 to 8 reps, sometimes even going all the way down to 4. Anything below 4 is kind of sketchy territory for me, because it's like, if you go too low down the rep range, then you can start like increasing your like risk for like tendonitis or stuff like that. So it's like, just I would say keep it between 5 to 8 reps for most of your main compound lifts, whatever it is they may are. So and progress them, because I'm a firm believer that when you're tired, you can still crank out like sets of 5 or sets of 6. It's still very much doable. And I would say also keep it on the lower end of the volume. Don't be trying to go too crazy. I know, like, volume is the craze and then this is the craze, but I'm a firm believer that if you're working a manual labor job, I think that keeping your volume as close as you can to the lower end of it is probably for the best. Just crank up the intensity, and always just be careful and take care of yourself. I would say that as a blue collar worker, I would not recommend y'all going on a massive cut. Mini cuts are probably okay, but I don't see the point, because you're already restricting a lot of calories, you're already expending a lot of calories. So all of that could affect not only your work performance, but your actual like performance in the gym, which can once again affect your rate of progress. So yeah, those are my 3 tips. To summarize them once again, it's number 1, take care of your joints. Number 2, it's progression is still key. And number 3, if you can, stick to the lower end of the volume and lower end of the rep range. Anyway, that's it. You guys stay safe, take care, love y'all, see ya, bye.